What's going on, y'all? I want to give you my review of the Subbass Doctor 808 from United Plugins. So I've been using this the last few days, and it took me a while to really realize what this plugin is doing, because this is not something like our bass where you put it on and your sub bass just jumps out the speakers. So looking at the name Subbass Doctor, this is meant to treat your low end and bass. And because of that, I find that even at extreme settings sometimes, that overall I'd say this plugin can be subtle. So looking at the website description, it says, treating the lowest frequencies is not an easy task, and in some listening environments, it's almost impossible. If you mix while traveling, or your mixing room or system is not 110% perfect, you should see the doctor, namely Subbass Doctor. So by that description, it seems like this is being marketing it to people maybe mixing in headphones or mixing on the go that's not at their studio all the time, bringing it back to the name Doctor and treating your sub bass. So let's go ahead and go over the controls, and then we'll get into what this sounds like. So these two red knobs on the left and right is your input, output, saturation, sub, adding subharmonic bass down in the 20, 30, 40 hertz range. And then you got your metering here. The top is your input, bottom is your output. So all of that is standard controls. In the middle, you've got a big knob that says cure. So from what I can tell, this definitely sounds like it's adding some compression. I can hear on like sub basses or 808s that kind of ring out. Turning this up will shorten that. And I also feel the sound get a little smaller through it too. So it definitely feels like it is a compressor. I couldn't really find a manual to find out exactly what the cure is doing, but from the website, it does mention removing harmful harmonic frequencies in the sub bass. So let's go ahead and get into what this sounds like. I've got a track up here in Studio One, and I'm just going to play that. Okay, so for this, I'm going to strip some of the sounds out, and we're going to deal with just the sub bass and the drums, which would be this. Okay, so I'm going to we're going to just step through some presets here. If you just click this, we've got a list of presets here. So we're going to go through some presets, and then we'll do some individual tweaking and see what the Subbass Doctor can do for this sub bass that I have. So this last preset here, heavy saturate, you can really hear a difference on this one. So you got the cure turned up, a little bit of sub, a little bit of saturation. So let's just really listen to this cure knob. I'm going to bring the sub and saturation down, and bring actually let's leave it up, and then we'll pull it down and just hear what differences we see, or hear what differences we hear. And now I'm going to solo the bass, and I'm gonna leave the cure here, and I'm gonna bypass it, and so we can hear the immediate difference. So yeah, I certainly feel like some of the energy is being taken away by adding the cure, but what we'll try to do here is add this back with some of the sub, and what I'll do also is bring up this spectrum analyzer. So now we'll leave the cure here, and we're going to bring in the sub. All right, and lastly, we'll bring in some saturation. So with that sub turned all the way up, starting to get some growl there in the bass. Lastly, I'm going to leave the saturation up, sub up, and we're going to pull back the cure. All right, and lastly, we're going to listen to it back in the mix. So, like I said at the beginning, this can be subtle. I definitely hear it doing something, but overall, I would describe it as subtle. So, there's my review of the Subbass Doctor 808. Let me know what you think. If depending on when you're watching this, there is a introductory rate where you can get this for about $20 right now. But any questions, comments, let me know, and I'll catch y'all next time.